The premiere of The Head, HBO's slow-burning psychological thriller, sets the stage for a chilling descent into paranoia and survival. Set in the unforgiving landscape of Antarctica, the show begins with a sense of optimism. A team of dedicated scientists prepares to face the brutal 6-month winter, hoping their research will contribute to the fight against climate change. They share drinks, laughter, and traditions, finding comfort in each other's presence. But when the summer crew returns after the long, sunless months, they are met with silence and a mystery buried under the ice. The episode opens at Polaris 6, an international research station deep in Antarctica. Here, a team of scientists is studying climate change, hoping to contribute something meaningful to the world. But as the long winter begins, the usual dangers of isolation and cold will be the least of their worries. As the summer crew prepares to leave, we meet Johan Berg, the station's expedition leader, who is saying goodbye to his wife, Annika, a molecular biologist staying behind for the winter. The couple shares a tender moment, but there is tension. Annika seems reluctant, almost as if there's something that she's not telling Johan. Among the crew staying behind is Arthur Wilde, the team's lead scientist, whose arrogance and cold demeanor create friction. We see him giving a speech saying how their Earth is pretty much dying and how the crew staying behind fights to bring the cure to Mother Earth, as he says. He and Annika do have history. There was this huge discovery that they made together on some bacteria that only Arthur got credit for. As you can imagine, this has put a damper on their relationship, as they haven't worked together in 8 long years. Annika has a very clear distrust of him, and she warns Johan to trust her, saying how she wants her name on this. Right before the winter and summer crew part ways, Johan hands over leadership to Eric. Also among the remaining crew is Niles, the station's repairman. After the sun sets for the next 6 months, the winter crew continues its annual tradition, watching John Carpenter's The Thing. It's a moment of bonding, but it also feels like an omen. The Thing is about an unseen threat infiltrating a group, twisting them against one another, a fitting choice considering what's about to happen. The scene then shifts to Maggie, the station's doctor, stepping outside and finding a baby seal lost from its herd during a blizzard. The seal is literally wailing its heart out, and Maggie wants to help it, but Arthur stops her because apparently they have rules: fly out their garbage and don't disturb the wildlife. They have to make it seem as if they were never there, which I think is pretty weird. If they're doing something that'll save the world, why are they hiding? But Arthur tells her that she's learning the wrong lesson. This place doesn't care if they live or die, and having empathy will only get her killed. Dude, y'all are out there alone. Who would know? And she says that to him. She really wants to help the seal, but unfortunately caves in and leaves it to die. The seal cries all night long, a very low-key haunting sound of helplessness. Oh, I don't know why stuff like this gets me, but it does, and I hate it so bad. Filmmakers, please leave the animals out of it. I'm begging you. The show jumps forward 6 months. Johan and the summer crew come back, and he tells Astrid, who is the pilot, that they haven't heard from the station in 3 weeks. They expect to be met by the winter crew, but there is nothing. The station is abandoned, the doors are frozen shut, no one is in sight. As they force their way inside, they find the station in disarray. Bloodstains on the walls, signs of a struggle, and most disturbingly, bodies. Eric lying dead, along with another individual who has been burned beyond recognition. Mike, who I'm guessing is the medical examiner, he has experience in some medical expertise. Anyways, he describes the bone structure of our burn victim as female, but there's no way to say for certain that it's Annika. After splitting up to search for the rest of the crew, they find Maggie, trembling, completely terrified, hiding in the darkness. As Johan tries to make sense of the situation, we get a head count. Alright, y'all need to stick with me here as I make sense of the living, dead, and missing. Eric, Niels, Miles, Heather, Aki, Raymond are the confirmed dead. That's 6 people, okay? Among the missing are Arthur and Annika, and Maggie is the only one confirmed alive. Johan later says it's 7 confirmed dead instead of 6, and 2 missing instead of 3. Ebba is the most likely that burn victim. Let's be real here. Annika has too much development to be confirmed dead this early. Johan tells Astrid to check out the Western Plateau to see if the missing snowcat is anywhere in sight, as the Argentina station is in that direction and is the closest one to them. Johan informs a superintendent of their situation, and the superintendent tells them that it'll be 48 hours until rescue arrives. They're also told to not disturb the crime scene, which is ridiculous, considering how the entire station is the crime scene. After letting Maggie get some rest in the infirmary, Johan asks her about Annika's whereabouts. Maggie begins to recount the nightmare that unfolded after his team left. It started with a death. From here, Maggie describes the crew's last normal moments, some hazing for the newbies, a small gathering, and casual conversations. However, tensions begin to rise. We see Eric pushing up on Ebba, who is clearly not interested. Take a hint, bro. Then all of a sudden, Niels catches a mean right hook from Miles. We later find out that Miles has been timing Niels in the shower due to hot water shortages, and Niels, already struggling with memory issues, finds himself on edge. Later, Maggie tends to Niels, who admits to losing track of time. He suddenly dozes off, gazing at Maggie while an ethereal theme plays in the background. He tells Maggie how she reminds him of someone too good to be out in the cold. This is a very obvious hint at unresolved trauma Niels may have. Maggie soon informs Eric and Arthur that Niels is suffering from Polar T3 syndrome, a condition that makes a person prone to forgetfulness and easily disturbed. Fast forward a day later, after noticing their comms are malfunctioning, Miles sets out to fix the antenna, and we get a cool montage of everyone doing their jobs. Heather is working on the snowcat, Arthur and Annika are being nerds in their lab, Niels is repairing the station, Raymond is making them some grub, and Aki is burying that damn seal. Oh my god, win Aki, bro. Fast forward a few hours, everyone is having dinner in the mess hall until they realize Miles never showed up. A search party consisting of Heather, Niels, and Eric set out to find him. They walk around outside screaming his name a bunch until they come across a trail of blood. When they return, their poker faces look a little worse for wear. The crew soon discover their communication system deliberately destroyed, and it's revealed that under mysterious circumstances, Miles was found dead. Was it an accident, or was someone among them capable of murder? Back in the present, Maggie snaps back to reality, screaming for her life. As Mike tends to her needs, Johan returns to his quarters where his worst fears have come true. Annika is missing and possibly dead. There's no sign of her body, no clues to her fate, but there is a note in the closet that's been ripped up, leaving us with only fragments of a story. What we do know is that Annika is apologizing, saying she deserves to burn. And this concludes episode 1 of The Head. At its core, The Head presents itself as a psychological thriller, a study in paranoia, isolation, and the fragility of trust. However, the references to the Thing suggest there may be more than just human betrayal at play. Could the station have been infiltrated by an outside force? We do find out that Polaris 6 is a demilitarized zone, so there should be no weapons there, least of all firearms. Perhaps another group, one hidden from official records, was lurking in the snow, observing the team from the shadows. Or could something more abstract have taken hold? The human mind left in darkness for 6 months is vulnerable to hallucinations, paranoia, and breakdowns. What if the crew wasn't simply losing their minds, but instead waking up to a deeper, more terrifying reality? The moment of disassociation that Niels has, accompanied by an eerie buzzing sound, further suggests that something beyond human comprehension could be affecting the team. Whether it is psychological or supernatural remains unclear, but one thing is certain: something unnatural has taken hold at Polaris 6. Going into episode 2, we need answers. What happened to Annika? Can we even trust what Maggie is telling us? And who or what was really behind the deaths of the Polaris 6 winter crew? This show isn't just about survival, it's about truth. And right now, the truth is buried under 6 months of snow. What do you think happened at Polaris 6? Share your theories below. And if you enjoyed this breakdown, stay tuned because the nightmare is only just beginning.